Welcome back to Time to Talk. Today is going to be a special episode because today is a very important day in our nation's history. 19 years ago, 4 commercial airliners were hijacked by al-Qaeda terrorists on Tuesday, September 11th. 2 airliners crashed into the New York World Trade Center towers. 1 flew into the west side of the Pentagon, and the 4th plane, initially headed to Washington, D.C., smashed into a field in Stony Creek Township, Pennsylvania, after passengers thwarted the terrorists' mission. In total, those 9/11 attacks left 2,977 people dead, over 25,000 injured and with long-term health consequences, and resulted in the death of 415 first responders. Since that day, America and the world have never been the same. So, rather than publishing a typical episode, we wanted to acknowledge that somber event and remember the people who sacrificed their lives in the attacks and in pursuing justice for the United States. Here's to the Patriots, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
9/11 by David McLansky. They told us all to just stay put. Breathing ashes and blackened soot. Put a towel against the door. Wet it first. Put it on the floor. The firemen were on the way. That's what 911 said that day. But I've always had an ornery streak when told to obey and to be meek. We were told to wait in that fiery din. Be patient. The firemen were coming in. But I rebelled. I could not sit still. I would not cling to the windowsill. I was tired of always following orders. I had to think of my 2 daughters. So for once, I dared to rebel, to exit from that burning hell. As in the fires of the Serengeti, in whirling smoke and wild confetti, I held a towel to my face, a savage in a human race. Through the choking smoke and fire, stumbling in the twisting gyre, blindly pushing through the smell, I made it to the south stairwell. I joined a mob of screams and cries, of burnt white shirts and silken ties, of torn pantsuits and sooted skirts. The stairway lights were flashing on alert. Rebels, we all descended, heedless of whom we offended. In the crowd, a woman fell. Who she was, I could not tell, yet I stopped to help her up. How odd. She held a coffee cup. Down and down we stumbled, down. A woman wore a wedding gown. In the stink and smoke and fire, careless of our ruined attire, we stumbled downward in our haste. Our only thought, to escape. We met the firemen coming up, our downward flow slowed, abrupt. We let them pass, they let us pass. Above, we heard a roaring crash. From above fell chunks of debris. We ran downward, one thought, to flee. But the firemen shoved us to run up. Anger flared, some were cuffed. We pushed downward amid the screams. We heard the wail of police sirens, and suddenly, I was in the lobby. My knees were shaken. My steps were wobbly. I was led away cut and bruised. I realized I had lost my shoes. I staggered, barefoot, up the street in a rain of paper sheets. Whose files these were, I didn't know, but they all came down like scattered snow. I was ushered on by waving cops. Head north, they shouted. I didn't stop. I saw a priest give a man extreme unction in the middle of a cross-street junction. I was alive. I had rebelled. I walked northward from that evil smell.
Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine. Till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine.
We Shall Never Forget by Alan W. Jankowski. Let the world always remember that fateful day in September, and the ones who answered duty's call should be remembered by us all, who left the comfort of their home to face perils as yet unknown, and embodiment of goodness on a day when men's hearts had gone astray. Sons and daughters like me and you, who never questioned what they had to do, who, by example, were a source of hope and strength to others who could not cope. Heroes that would not turn their back, with determination that would not crack, who bound together in their ranks and asking not a word of thanks. Men who bravely gave their lives, whose orphaned kids and widowed wives can proudly look back on their dad, who gave this country all they had. Actions taken without regret, heroisms we shall never forget. The ones who paid the ultimate price, let's never forget their sacrifice. And never forget the ones no longer here, who fought for the freedoms we all hold dear. And may their memory never wane, lest their sacrifices be in vain.
Oh, beautiful for patriots dream that sees beyond thy years. Thine alabaster cities gleamed, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, to nobler men keep once again